Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to my YouTube channel, and I just want to clarify one thing. There will be no part 2 of quick recap of January or Formula 1 2024, whatever, but instead it's going to be a Formula 1 2024 guide. So here's the video and enjoy. The new era of the motorsport, and so does the Formula 1 as well. By the time of 2022, Formula 1 introduced a new regulation, a simpler car design, is slightly smaller than the previous car, and gone off the flat floor design and enter the ground effect era. Everything's changed from the car and the tire itself. By all means, they makes the diameter bigger. And all those changes to solve a problem of Formula 1 today, which is a dirty air. So they designed the car to create less dirty air and make it easier to follow. Seems pretty positive, right? Let's see the result. Yeah, maybe it isn't according to plan, the domination sort of thing, and yet the driver's complaining about the dirty air. So all this negativity, is there's anything different or there's anything good? Well, absolutely, yes. I mean, if you're going down a little bit, after your Red Bull, you see you got fights going on like a Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren, or maybe a Alpha Tower that now a Visa Cash App RB, and also the Stake F1 team, or maybe a Williams that now is not even a back market anymore. In fact, the Williams now, evolving. Okay, the Williams is not a slow car; it's a fast car. But before we talk about all those things, let's talk about the bull of the room. The RB20 failed the crash test, the Christian Horner allegation, and all those things doesn't stop Red Bull to reveal the RB20. And for a third time in the ground effect era, Red Bull decided to change their car philosophy. Like we can see, the RB19 is different than the RB18, and yes, the RB20 is completely different than the RB19. And I see that Red Bull inspiring, use the concept from a previous team who are apparently abandoned their concept, and people got surprised with a Red Bull zero pod concept. Although it's not a zero pod concept because the hole is hiding underneath the car, so yeah, it's just a cooling system whatsoever. But you got some of the design that got inspired by W14, which is their 2023 Mercedes car. But yeah, for a third time, Red Bull proving themselves that you can make a different concept design and yet you can be fast and winning the race. So yeah, I think the team will be unstoppable. Built from the ground up, they said, although the car wasn't completely built from the ground up because 5% of them were leftover from 2023 or maybe 2022. But yeah, 95% of them were completely built from the ground up. And we can already see the radical changes, like the front nose were different, and the most extreme one is the front wing design by James Allison. And all those radical changes doesn't stop there. The return of James Allison, and so does the silver color. Of course, there's still a black from carbon fiber because they still need it for weight reduction purposes. And the Petronas still that used to be on the side now is on the top of it, giving the McLaren, the West McLaren vibe, and of course, the Mercedes Formula E livery. And another thing to mention is their car design were completely different than their 2023 car, which unironically, their 2023 formula has been used by Red Bull for their 2024 car. But all those changes to prove themselves that they are ready to what happened after 2024, given the fact their main star is now doing a bombshell move that he gonna leave for the team after the 2024 season. So Lewis Hamilton is now leaving Mercedes after the 2024 season. Where did he go now? Well, the answer is Ferrari. Now, we've seen the rumors that Lewis Hamilton's gonna move to Ferrari. Like, we've seen these rumors going over and over again, like the rumors going down, and it goes up for some odd reason. And we think it's impossible because Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes is something that is impossible to break. And by the time that rumors is going up, till the point that I see this was a complete joke. And now we're in the year 2024 now. And turns out the rumors was real. And it's official now. While we're living. Now there's a tons of reason why Hamilton is moving to Ferrari. One of them is raise up his salary. But other than that, Hamilton sees a potential on Ferrari. Hamilton see that Ferrari has more promising car than the Mercedes. Now we can see that 2022, the beginning of the ground effect era, Ferrari just easily wipes up Mercedes and easily get the P2 construction. While in the 2023, then Mercedes know about regulation, about the ground effect regulation. Mercedes seems to catching up, but in the middle of the season, Ferrari knows that it's not about car competition. It's not about depends on the car. It's not about the cars being fast. They knew that, and Ferrari's been catching up to Mercedes to get back their P2 construction. But we all know that the Abu Dhabi 2023 wasn't their day, so they have to give up the P2 and get the P3. But on that point news that Ferrari is now being evolved by a Fred Vasseur. Like we can see the transition from Mattia Binotto into a Fred Vasseur era. Like it's now became a Formula One team, like a proper Formula One team in a modern era. So maybe 2024 or maybe 2025 wasn't their year for Ferrari, or maybe onwards. But I think Ferrari is looking good, and I have optimism for Ferrari. After finishing this result with a mediocre result, McLaren is kind of ready for this season. I mean, I don't really have much expectation given the fact all the pessimists. It seems they just gave up for it. Oh, sorry. That's a wrong script. And oh, there we go. That's a new one. After finishing the strong season with a respectable P4, McLaren seems now ready to what happened in 2024. They are so ready until they're surprising us with a mid-January livery reveal. Now, there's some certain things that is changed to the car, like the gun of the leftover baby blue, and so does the pessimistic. Now, it seems like McLaren filled with the optimistic spirit, like the two drivers lineup that are finishing both on the podium. I don't see something that is going backward. Unless they did a tradition which bring a little tractor on the Bahrain Grand Prix. Same, but different. And I think this is a perfect term to describe Aston Martin 2024. Unlike the 2023 where you got whole things new and you got so much expectation to the team, on the 2024, however, it just so calmly. And speaking of the car perspective, there's not much different. Obviously, there are some certain things that is new, some new innovation from the touch of Dan Fellows. And from livery-wise, yeah, they are the same. Other than you got some sponsor placement that is changed. Gone with the Cognizant. Oh, wait. The Cognizant is still here. So, yeah, the Cognizant is no longer a title sponsor and got replaced by a big sponsorship such as Aramco and Valvoline. The rest of it are the same. The livery are the same like last year. Although there might be looks like from the outside like nothing really that different, from the inside, I think they're trying to change their mentality. From last year, they have that top tier level Formula One car, but they still have that midfield Formula One team mentality. And in 2024, they're trying to change that mentality into a top-tier Formula One team mentality. It still has some optimism on the team, although this thing doesn't go very well for the next team. After we being baited by a pink camo teaser livery and used the exposed carbon fiber to a next level which makes the car almost entirely black, that doesn't stop the fact that Alpine will probably finishing at the middle of the standings. Or maybe worse, because Alpine is facing a lot of issue on the testing, and one of them is the cars being too heavy. So yeah, that extreme exposed carbon fiber, that's the reason why, and it doesn't stop the fact that the car still heavy. And not only that, because Alpine had been caught doing an understeer at the Bahrain testing. And even worse, the car has a lot of drag. And to top it off, Alpine is not the only team that using Renault powertrain, which is the weakest of all those four powertrain. And without any kind of big plan for 2024 onwards, that's the best way to describe it, as a disaster. Time just goes so fast. Now, back in the day when we saw Williams at the back of the grid is something very usual in Formula One. But now, looking Williams at the back of the grid is something that is not usual. And the fact they're not showing their actual car in 2024 reveal, which means they're hiding their actual 2024 car, is something very unusual. Sure, the car will not bring a big innovation that turn Williams into a bronze GP in a seconds, but I'm pretty sure the 2024 car will improve a lot. And that's been proved by Alex Albon that says that the car has better cornering than last year. It's been the second year that James Vowles being a team principal and we saw significant changes. So we hope that 2024 we also see some significant changes and we probably gonna saw Williams in the middle of the standings with the touch hands of James Vowles. After being one of the slowest team in 2023 to being least faster towards the end of the 2023 to being even more faster in 2024, giving their advantage of using Red Bull RB19 parts, I'll say this team is looking bright, giving their goofy rebranding. But yeah, this team now is being Red Bull oriented, pretty much what Haas did to make this team wealthy again. Obviously, this type of partnership will raise some eyebrows given McLaren's concern that Racing Bulls probably will be a satellite team of Red Bull, and Red Bull probably will have more information and data from their second team. So, what do you think about this type of partnership? Now, what better way to start a new season with a team rebranding? I mean, seriously, this team now has been rebranding for 6 times. Since 2018, this team has been rebranding into Alfa Romeo Sauber. In 2019, Alfa Romeo Racing. In 2020, they had a new title sponsor, so they called it Alfa Romeo Racing Orland until 2021. In 2022, they rebranded themselves into an Alfa Romeo F1 Team Orland. Might be some slightly changes, but still, huge changes. In 2023, Orland is no longer title sponsor, and they found a new title sponsor, so they rebrand themselves into an Alfa Romeo F1 Team Stake. Now, 2024, Alfa Romeo no longer in Formula One, so they rebrand themselves into a Stake F1 team, or Kick F1 team in some region, or even worse, Stake F1 team Kick Sauber. Now, we might not expect anything given the fact it's their last time before they transition themselves, or I would say, rebranding themselves into an Audi. But yeah, we're not really expect much from this team. Hell, we doesn't even care if this team isn't even competitive. But the data and the performance shows the otherwise. Turns out the car was quite competitive, at least on their level. But yeah, the car showed some good result, and Zhou Guanyu can set a decent time on the F1 testing. So yeah, this team is having a good future, at least for the next 2 years. But just like Williams, this team is trying to be more independent and not to be a sister team anymore. The same way doesn't go very well when I talk about this team. After the retirement of Kevin Harvick, Stuart Haas Racing is doing a rebranding in 2024, marking the new era of ASHR. Wait, there's the NASCAR team. How about their Formula One team? Well, sort of. Now, Haas' situation right now is pretty much like McLaren at the beginning of 2023, and they also did what McLaren did, hoping they can get that piece of cake. Now, sure, isn't going to be an easy job for Ayao Komatsu because there's a lot of things to do and a lot of things to fix, given the fact that 2023 car has a lot of issue. Now, not really expecting anything from 2024 season because they're probably going to finish last, but let's see what 2025 did. Did they going to finish last or maybe going to improve, given the fact that the owner just don't want to spend their money on the Formula One team? And now, here we are. The last team on the grid. Now you can see there's a lot of things that is changed in 2024 in terms of cars, livery, performance, acquisition, you name it. Now we probably know how it's going to happen and how it's going to end, but when you're looking down a little bit to the midfield, there's a lot of things going on. A lot of battle to fight for a second place or even a third place. When the Bahrain Grand Prix just up ahead, now we can see who is better or not. See you in the race.